Hello, my name is Henry and welcome to a rather sunny and very hot Andorra. Now, normally on these track walk days, we go around the pits and we try and find some of the latest bikes and new tech. But in lieu of that, and the speculative and deluded ramblings of a man that's about 7 Calippos deep on a sugar high, today we're actually going to try and potentially do some real journalism, which is a bit of a stretch for us. So as a lot of you may have heard, things are changing a bit in UCI downhill and cross country. And that's because the rights have been sold to a different company, to Discovery, whereas currently it's hosted by Red Bull TV. Now, there are lots of rumours flying around of what's going to happen next year, and quite honestly, I don't really know what to believe. However, I do know that the riders are forming a union to better represent their interests. Now, I assume this is going to be over a whole breadth of topics, but I imagine rider welfare and race format is going to be high up on the agenda. So we thought, well, they formed this union because they want to air and better represent their own interests. Now, we make videos for the internet, so why not go and ask them? So we thought we'd grab at some of the stars of our sport on track walk today and ask them what is going on with this union and what they are hoping to achieve.
Yeah, so basically the riders union is going to be one person we as riders elect. So that person speaks to the ESO, and whoever takes over and has something to say for the World Cup next year and for the next coming up years. And then yeah, it's basically now we don't really have a voice. The UCI is just changing stuff, and obviously we have riders representative like Greg and Miriam, but the communication is just really bad, and we never know stuff, or we never get the chance to actually say something. I think last weekend was the first time people were actually reacting on stuff we were telling about the track, because some sections were sketchy, or there was a rock, and they actually worked on it, so it's safer for us riders. And that was the first time actually stuff like this happened. So I feel like we're now having a second meeting ever, and we're gonna elect one person, or maybe two, I don't really know what they think about it yet. And then it's weird, because we don't know anything about next year, nothing, no dates, no locations, what's how many people gonna qualify, or DH1, DH2, you just hear bits, but you have no idea about what's gonna happen. So it's kind of scary if you think about it, because we are mid-season, but nobody knows who is gonna race next year.
I think they're trying to hold the World Cup together, because I think they're a bit worried next year is going to kind of turn into a bit of a disaster with the new organisers. So I think they're trying to keep it together.
Do you think that's a good idea?
I think they need to have someone, yeah. Definitely having people to seeing some of the things on this track here. It'd be nice to have a voice to the UCI to be able to make changes.
I don't know much, but yeah, it's all the riders getting together and trying to help the sport progress with the new changes. So I think it's a good thing, and it's good to have power in numbers, because the riders are the show. Yeah, I think it's definitely because there's big changes coming next year, so now is the best time to do it, and they're doing it. So it's good to see the riders all coming together. I don't know much about next year, so I'm hoping it's all good, but let's see. But we don't know anything. It's July already and we don't know anything, so it's kind of scary. But I've heard that not too many big changes for next year, so that's a good thing, because you don't want to come in and try and change everything from the get-go. So they need to do it step by step.
I think he's trying to form some kind of a group so they can be heard, I guess, and voice some opinion towards change and what's going on. Yeah, I think it definitely has. I think there's going to be change next year, and they just want to make sure that they've got a voice towards it. Yeah, I've heard a little bit. I've had a few meetings with ESO, and obviously on the Riders Commission, in the UCI Commission, we've heard a bit as well. And it doesn't seem like there's massive change. It seems pretty cool, and I mean, Chris Paul's it's not his first rodeo, and he's leading in charge, and he's got a great team around him. So I've no doubt it's going to be good, and I'm pretty confident in that.
Yeah, well, fortunately, LOIC BRUNI actually brought it about more in Lenzerheide. We were talking about it before that, and then I actually missed the first one because I arrived late from to Lenzerheide. So we're having another, I think, tonight at 5. So this will be really good. Just more, especially with changes coming in the future, the organisation and stuff. It's going to really help push the sport in the right direction. Hopefully, that's the goal. Yeah, literally, that's the only goal. Is just a bit more of a voice. Avoid stuff like, even here in the last drop, happening. Like, you know, it could be avoided. Like, it's fine, but it's a bit sketchy. So just make it happy for the riders, safer, and yeah, like, it's a good chance to, you know, a fresh start. So
I would say it's less of like a union and more about like an association. So it's all of the riders coming together, most of the, like a lot of riders coming together and speaking about sort of our rights in racing, because right now we have absolutely no say in anything. We have no say for track, we have no say for prize money, we have no say for safety, no say for anything, and we're the ones that are like the product to say. And I feel like as it goes now, with the management changing and the organization changing, we need some sort of say in something so that we're not just left to the wolves, you know? It's like some stuff on tracks that we've had even this year, like dangerous or sketchy or whatever, and it's like, guess what? We can't say anything. And even with the prize money or whatever, it's like the riders seem to get the short end of the stick on most of this stuff. So I feel like all the riders coming together, becoming organized, even just having a conversation going is like pretty important, because then we can all be unified and on the same page, versus like people coming from here, from here, from here, and we can really organize and work with the organization rather than just be helter-skelter, you know?
Was next year part of the reason why you want to set this up?
Yeah, I feel like we've been actually starting the talks with Finn when COVID appeared, because we had a lot of changes, some UCI deciding things, Red Bull deciding other things for the show, you know. It was kind of, we were in the middle of something, we didn't have anything to say, and we just want to have a better organization. So when we come up to the like promoters, pretty much like ESO, and one guy comes and say everything that we've been talking to, even a year prior to the race. For example, there's so much sketchy stuff here that at the end of the weekend we should all come up with voting some stuff and then go to ESO and Val Nord and say, okay, next year this has to change, this has to change. If not, we're not racing. Because we don't want to be striking every races, we don't want to be the annoying party, but we also want to influence the sport in the way that we think is right, and the team managers want to work with us, and we all want to work together to make it better. And I feel like now is the time, because we change, the sport's going to change with the new promoter,
For the next 8 years. So.
Yeah, new broadcaster. So we didn't have anything really to say with UCI. Now UCI is backing up a bit. So let's try at least. And I feel like most of the top guys and girls are pretty keen on that. And we just need to figure out some details. But I think the sport needs that. And for the future, we're going to be, and and we're also concerned, you know, like media guys, riders, teams, we all need to make sure our budget will stay the same, our life, our work and our passion will stay good. And then if we have a little influence on that, it's better than I have nothing to say, I think. Hey, AMAURY!
Yeah, good, and you?
Good? So, okay.
How are you? Yeah, good.
We really need like to put in place that rider connection to make things not like that.
This ending is insane, bro.
I don't know really much, but I think it's a really good thing, because typically, like right here, there is like some really sketchy and just like not good stuff. So the rider union can be like a strength, like to make a voice like
Heard?
yeah, heard.
Like
So yeah,
to listen to.
yeah. Because like if you like the top like 20 rider like decide to not race because the track is and it's a job, we want to have a good fun on a good tracks, you know. If it's dangerous with stumps and stupid rocks everywhere, it's like, why we do that, you know? So it's cool to have that union for sure.
So there we have it. That's what some of them had to say, because listen, information really is thin on the ground. And to be honest with you, as someone that's kind of within the sport a bit, I don't really know what to believe. However, I do think it is better that the riders have more of a voice to represent their own interests. In the State of the Sport survey this year, we did find some quite startling data as we asked anonymously the top 40 riders from each discipline. And although we'll be conducting the same survey again this year, I think it's going to be really good for these elite riders to have a bigger say in their sport. Now, funnily enough, because we don't really know what shape the racing will take next year, they could be setting themselves up for one set of values and one set of principles, and actually something entirely different happen as the rights holder changes. And that's really interesting, because I think that's the elephant in the room, right? These riders are, you know, grouping together because of all this crazy things that could happen. But actually, to be honest with you, whether it's Red Bull or Discovery or the BBC or whoever has got the rights to these World Cups, I think it's good the riders are going to have a bigger say. And I don't think it should be framed as they're doing it in response or because of Discovery. Maybe it's just going to be a catalyst for something really good to happen. And that will be hopefully better welfare for our riders and kind of, you know, a sport that represents what they think downhill should be more, because they should have a say in it because they're the ones doing it. Now, that is probably the most journalism I've ever done in my life. I'm going to go back to making memes on the internet and wildly speculative tech videos. Thank you very much for watching, and you know, keep tabs on this because I think it's a really interesting developing story about what is going on with the World Cup racing. Thanks guys, and we'll see you next time.